All right, let's start off with Ali's topic.
Yeah, I think this will be pretty quick. I am working on making or adding tags to all the configuration variables in the docs to see whether or not they can be set or changed at runtime or not. Um, Casey, thanks for the pointers a few days ago on what's missing in the docs. I was able to open up a PR and get those rendered. I'm wondering what the next step should be to actually go through and audit all the config variables. I think Matt suggested I put together a Google sheet or something and share it with the RGW team. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna imagine solution does not involve me actually trying to exercise all of those config variables.
I mean, it could be a pad, but something that lets people just go in and update the things, the functions they know about, and annotate what the value should be would be
Yeah.
nice. And they would commit that fixes them all.
Yeah, yeah, pad would actually a pad's a better idea than a Google sheet.
Well, sheets are cooler, but pads are free.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to divide and conquer.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just as long as we understand exactly what the process is to determine whether a option is runtime or not.
And if we don't know, I think we want to mark that, right? Say we're not sure yet, or something. Have some innocuous name that encourages people to fix it later when we figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems
like a problem. Well, sorry, you were mentioning, Casey, that well, or Josh mentioned that. Oh yeah, there other components have this, but it's not accurate. So I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of looks like they've just been copy pasting config options with that runtime flag in them.
So we want to somewhere clarify that, at least for this component, what we published is what we think is true. If we don't know, we marked it.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
unmarked means we don't know or something.
I'm gonna guess if we mark it or we don't mark it, we're kind of using our common sense and saying this variable or the result of this config should take place upon restart, or it's fine to just throw this in during runtime. I mean, even in the case where we say we mark it with runtime or with restart or whatever, we're still using our best knowledge of the config variable as a team, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not saying necessarily. Yeah, I would say that's the starting point. But if it's wrong, it's a bug.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get started on that. I mean, luckily the docs are kind of broken up in a way that it's somewhat easy for me to hound certain people on certain subsystems. But yeah, I'll get started on that and update the group's progress over the coming weeks. I've got to jump off in 15 minutes. I'm gonna drop somebody somewhere, but that's it for me.
All right. Let's see. Or's not here, but I just had a chat with him before this call about his sync fairness progress. And he's stuck on an issue with Rados in general about how to persist the bids. One of the review comments that I had there is that we should not have a global map of those bids with a global mutex to access them. I wanted to see those stored with the object in Rados instead. But that runs into an issue with librados that if you return an error on an op, then none of the writes are persisted. And in this case, we want to update the bids even if we're rejecting the lock with ebusy.
What if we use like an in-out parameter? We can do that now, right?
Right. there's a way, if we return success, there's a way to return extra data.
Yeah, that would seem like the trick here. Right, listen, that made my first move.
Yeah, I think it's tricky though. I guess first of all, that would require us to change all of the existing callers clients of CLS lock to add some extra handling. Maybe the CLS client logic could do that and we wouldn't have to change all the daemons, but that also changes how these CLS calls compose into OSD apps, right? Because you might send an OSD app that locks an object and then does some other write to the same object. And this would introduce a way where we would go on and apply that write even if we couldn't acquire the lock.
Okay, well, what if the bids is it really CLS? Is it really tied? Is it really necessarily linked to, or coupled with CLS lock? The bidding is its own thing, isn't it? We could lift it into its own structure, maybe. Or what am I missing there?
Well, it does need to be the OSD that's storing all of these, but yeah,
it could be its own like its own. It could be a different kind of semaphore or whatever we want to call it. I mean, its own stateful PD.
I kind of think that that's what the existing thing is doing with its global map and mutex.
Well, I mean, well, still, hold on, I'm crazy. So here's. So what would change in your approach? So the bidding currently goes to like a central location, and for all operations have to that are negotiated have to have an extra step where we do that, and then we do whatever else we're going to do. Or what changes if we move it to the object, and you know what you're calling out here? If we deglobalize it. So the point was we're not using CLS lock, but then if we switch to you're proposing to use CLS lock in order to get rid of the global map.
The global map, the sync fairness PR adds a global map to CLS lock to implement the bid stuff.
Is that what Eric had originally designed, or is that something new?
I think so, yeah. And that's the part that I objected to. But moving it into Rados is complicated for the reasons that I.
What is it? What does it exactly mean? I mean, I'm sorry if I'm meaning. I'm just trying to understand a little better. What does it mean to move it into Rados then?
CLS lock is per object, and it stores lock info in an X adder on the object. So I had requested that we move the bid stuff into that X adder along with the other lock info. But the problem is we can't persist writes to that and return an error at the same time.
Well, to be fair, I mean, is it great way to be crazy to say rules are made to be broken? Is that really true, or can we introduce a new SAM just defying modality for such operations?
Possibly. I do know that there's some existing workarounds related to enowent. Maybe it's that certain ops say that enowent is okay, but I believe that it just treats that as a success and persists the writes because of that.
So if we can introduce a semantic that's well marked.
Yeah.
Doesn't leak.
Yeah.
Then we
So
can
something
lift it.
like,
Really can lift this idea. We lift our own monad into Rados or whatever.
yeah, I guess the idea would be that we would want to return an error and stop executing any other apps, but still persist any writes that happened.
Or this, or this, or this, or the ones that this particular behavior did, right? Not necessarily everything else. Maybe.
Could we possibly redefine the op as persisting this data and then as a side effect taking the lock instead of the other way around? And then it would return success but unlocked or success but locked and persist the data?
Well, if there's like a compound, would that work? Would that work?
I don't know. I don't know very much about CLS. I'm just.
Well, I think it's about I think it's about the OSD op, and I think it wouldn't matter what order you did them in. I mean, I think what I'm hearing, I think what I'm understanding is that we have to coerce Rados to allow us to persist a particular piece of data, violating its normal rules for executing the compound op. Adam, am I making sense there? Adam is blinking. Well, whether or not that's exactly true. I mean, I think Rados should be able to. I think the notion that Rados should be allowed to allow us to have a semantic like this is not crazy. It needs to not break other behaviors. It needs to not change other semantics that it has.
Right. Yeah, part of this is tied into the PG log and how it does recovery. So it would need to recover apps that returned this error and apply the writes again.
Hey, open source contributor 11. Yeah. Casey's going to call on you, unless you have to go right away.
Yeah, well, welcome to the call. Where this part of the project is RGW, which is the S3 layer on top of Ceph. Let's see, is there any, do you guys know any good documentation about getting started as a developer?
Well, there's upstream doc on that, isn't there? Or at least there historically has been.
Yeah, maybe,
I don't think
that's a good place.
I don't think this is for Ceph in general. I don't think this is specific to RGW.
So open. I mean, do you have a microphone? Open source contributor 11. Do you have an? Yeah, or do you have tell us your name. If you want to talk, you can say hi. I mean, you can come to this meeting, and you can come to other stand-ups, and we'll all try to help you out. If you happen to be wanting to work on a Ceph object storage.
All right, so on the topic of CLS lock, so a point that Orr made is that it's okay if the OSD forgets these things. So that was an argument for keeping them in memory, but we would need some way to manage the size of the map. And that gets a little bit complicated. He was planning to send an email to the dev list asking about, I guess, asking for feedback from the Rados team on what we could do there. So
why is it okay for why is it so if it's completely idempotent? I mean, I don't know. So there would just be a map associated. Where would that mapping be? It would be somehow in the CLS context, but reused.
I mean, in the PR as it is, they are global static variables in CLS lock CC, so it would be OSD wide, but there may be some way that we can hook this into a object context so that it's thread safe and its lifetime is attached to the object context instead.
That'd be prettier. So, but this would still does this still suffer from the problem of it being global? It's if you touch the object context, you've solved that problem. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, maybe maybe we just need some CLS interface to get at it. That might not be too bad.
That sounds appealing. Object context don't seem to be going away, much as we might wish. Maybe this is a good reason. There needs to be something. But okay, I'm getting it now. I think the global part.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like it would be nice if we could persist it and so recover from crashes or whatever, but an OSD crash or restart would just require everybody to bid again.
I mean, you can't get. The thing is, if it's just specific data on the object context, and the question was what it probably wouldn't be forgotten. So you probably would have solved both things, but you're going to get a bunch of squealing in the OSD core team about it probably. But maybe we could sneak up on it with conversations with Mark Nelson or something like that.
Yeah, well, the object context is just in memory in the OSD, so it wouldn't be persisted, but I think that's okay.
Well, maybe object context isn't the right thing. But maybe it could be linked with the O node.
Well, I mean, if it's in the O node, then it has to be written as part of the transaction, right?
Yeah.
So that runs back into the same issue about what our return value is.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I guess. I mean, wait a minute. What always runs into Rados semantics. To be fair, the idea of having completely self-destructing state, but pretending it's not is a little weird. But
what do you mean by that? It's weird to persist data that
no,
is
no,
very like this, or
if it's significantly let's back stuff. I mean, I guess having some specific data you can just stick in onto context. We promise not to blow it. So maybe harmless, although it doesn't. Sounds like we'll get an argument about it. But let's say, I guess let's ask the better question, which is how significant. I mean, how helpful to performance is it that it be persisted? Is it worth paying for a Rados transaction for it?
yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
What happens if we forget it? What occurs then?
Right. So say that a OSD crashes and another OSD comes up as the primary, so lock request would go to that one instead. There wouldn't be any bids, and so the first locker would acquire the lock, and then bids would pile up after that, and subsequent lock requests would.
So if we granted the lock, that's persisted.
Yes, because it's written to the.
Okay, so all we're forgetting is the bidding context that that we had, and yeah, that seems very reasonable.
And as Orr pointed out, it is more expensive to persist the bids in those cases where we would otherwise just return an error. All right, I'll follow up with Orr on this, and hopefully something will end up on the dev list about it.
Thanks, Kizzy.
Caleb, onto your topic.
I just wanted to call attention to the PR that it's the tautology test finally ran, and both before and after the rebase. Looks like both before and after the rebase had 2 multi-site failures in tautology. Looks like they're the same ones, but running on different machines, different machine types, Ubuntu versus CentOS. But I don't know how to tell if those test failures are meaningful or not. So anyway, if I have to debug them, then I'm going to need help from somebody.
I looked through the results and it all looked familiar. I just merged your PR.
Oh, okay, awesome. So then everybody should be aware that their next rebase is going to really move files around.
So my PR is not merged. So I'm going to have to rebase and run tautology on it separately.
This included your header file PR. This includes that.
Oh, neat. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Did you, regarding tautology, did you just wait for that to run, or did you cancel? I killed the run and
I canceled several and finally ran them at high priority, and they finally. Although maybe I don't need the high priority anymore, but I haven't tried.
Okay, I'll try it again.
Yeah, I queued some last night and they're still sitting queued. So.
Well, Matt, I ran one at -P10 because Matt told me to, and then the later one I ran at -P20. I'll try. I guess that I don't know how unfriendly that is, but
I don't think this is allowed. Anyway.
It's not allowed, but he did it.
Matt told me to. It's Matt's fault.
So, sorry, Caleb, can you clarify how Matt's changes are part of this? Did we just merge Matt's stuff?
No, you didn't. You definitely didn't.
Or...
You didn't merge my changes. They must be added. I don't know what he must have combined them for the tautology run.
Okay, so we ran tests, but we still need to rebase Matt's PR and test it again, it seems like.
Well, I downloaded his PR as a patch and applied it to my PR, to my source, and then. So all you do is
Your PR doesn't contain my change.
it doesn't.
And if you did, you erased my commit message away as well, which I wouldn't have liked. But I don't see any evidence. I read the entire PR this morning. It doesn't have my change in it. The one that Casey merged.
Okay, then I guess I didn't. I don't know. I don't know how.
Okay,
I don't know how I would have. I don't know what the right steps would have been to merge, to include yours and keep the merge message. But
No, they don't. The answer would have been to cherry pick the commits.
oh well.
It's okay. I mean, I'll rebase.
These are Git commands above my pay grade, so I don't know.
All right, well, I mean, we still have your branches around that we ran tests on that have a rebased version of Matt's commits, right? So hopefully we can just take those and raise a PR with that.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to do that, Caleb, that's okay. I mean, it'll just, or else, I don't know.
What does that mean? Tell me what that means.
It means that you rebased my commits probably if there was anything to fix, right? And when you combined them into your whatever you tested.
Yeah.
And so if we took the commits from my PR off of that, basically, if you basically rebased that on top of main and push it again, or give it to me and I'll push it again, then that PR would be ready to merge.
Right, I'd be willing to merge that without extra QA as long as it came directly from the branch you tested.
And for the appropriate GitHub foo, you could update my PR to do that, or I could do it if you point me to your branch.
I'll point you to my branch.
Okay.
This sounds like a recipe for me to really fuck things up. I mean, I would like to be smarter about Git, but I just haven't done this kind of stuff. So.
Well, the magic isn't GitHub. I think we all have rights to edit, to push a change to another PR, but I think that's the case. But it doesn't matter. I'll happily do it. It's easy.
All right. My branch.
So relevant to this is the sort of driver changes, which I have completed but not yet run through QA, because that's going to be at least as invasive as the commit that just merged. So my thought is we maybe want to try and merge that as soon as possible so that people only have to do one massive rebase instead of two. But maybe that's not what's best.
Well, it'd be good if the header reorg got done. Possibly we can get that merged today and then look at the next thing.
All right, well, I'll wait for the header reorg then.
So I linked the branch, but I only see Caleb's commit on there.
Yeah, that's all I saw upstream. I give it rebase. That's easiest.
Okay.
Try to send a theology job. God help us.
Yeah. If we have to rebase and retest, then it might make sense to let Dan do his changes at the same time and include both. But up to you guys.
That's cool. I mean, do you mind absorbing them, Dan?
Yeah, that's a great idea. So if you'll rebase on Caleb and I will rebase on Caleb, and then point me at the branch and I will merge it with mine and
Okay.
push them together.
All right, I will do that.
Are there any other PRs, big PRs in the pipe that might conflict with this? I'm not aware of any.
So what does it touch? Because I have the big PR for the removal of PubSub.
So the store to driver renames the base class store to driver. So it touches just about everything in RGW. Like almost every single file. Plus a directory rename.
Yeah,
So
that'll my changes, which you read, so it changes various internal headers. So you'll have to rebase, but it's not. But none of the changes are going to be interesting.
But if you can get yours in quickly, then I can rebase on that top of that without any real trouble, because that's just removing stuff, so it should be an easy merge for me.
But that hasn't been. I mean, I don't know. Is that going through QE runs? I mean, it's kind of like just. I don't think that. Well,
How close do you think it is, Yuval? I saw that you had results, but not a complete run. Have you managed to get it through yet?
No, I submitted one, wait a couple of days, cancel it, submit again, still in queue.
And I have my loadable module PR that's pretty good size that I'm sure Dan's stuff is gonna wreak havoc on. So
but in general,
we all have.
Okay, yeah, I just want to find the right order and stick to it.
But Dan, do you have a good topology run against yours?
No, not yet.
Then sadly, we don't have this problem yet.
Well,
Right.
yeah. I mean, maybe we pile all three together if it's going to be a messy rebase, no matter what we do.
I mean, if Yuval is already at the point of submitting test runs, then he's ahead of me, right? Because I still have to do rebase on top of Caleb's and incorporate Matt's. So I'm still a few days out from submitting Toothology, probably, or a day out from submitting Toothology.
both are acceptable. Let's just do test runs and merge which one's ready first.
Yeah, so I suspect Yuval can get his merged before mine. And then I'll just rebase both mine and Matt's on top of it.
I don't think it'll be hard either way.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Caleb, anything more to discuss on your topic?
Nope.
Or Dan, on yours? Cool. Anything else for the call then?
Yes.
Hey, Adam, what's up?
Since RBD keeps ignoring us when we ask if they want to look at Neo Rados, can we just merge it in? Like, it's been sitting there for weeks waiting for RBD, and RBD shows no interest in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be in theory possible. I mean, I don't accept that we can't have an efficient way to do this because Jason Dillerman left the company and the project.
Well, I know that Ilya cares about this too. I'll send him an email, and if I don't get a response to that, then we'll just go ahead.
All right.
How long has it been since the last run? Was that the October one?
Yeah, I think so. I can do another run if that would help.
October 18. This is when you asked Ilya to have a look.
Yeah, maybe just rebase and schedule another run, and I'll reach out to him in the meantime.
All right.
Those last results did look fine to me, but yeah, never got an ACK from RBD. The recent RBD suite results have looked pretty clean also, so hopefully it's easy once we have new results. Sorry for the delays on that. Has that been blocking you too, Yuval?
Yeah, I need that to move ahead with the multi-site coroutine work.
Okay. Yeah, maybe just carry those 6 commits in your branch in the meantime.
Well, I already have a branch with those commits, but I don't want everything to pile up. And
yeah, understood.
I think, yeah. See, we'll see if we can get you know, yeah, Ilya's attention this week or next. If not, I would say,
okay.
I don't know. I mean, I can bug people, but I think we should just.
Yep. I am fine merging it as long as we're confident that it's good. But I
mean, does it use the builder pattern? Is it too late to add that?
It does have a builder pattern, in fact.
Neo Rados does indeed have one.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Awesome. It's already done.
I don't really like that the RBD people took my nice all asynchronous creation and then stuck in a synchronous creator right in the middle of it. And since they're the only ones who have to use it, I don't care that much.
All right. Any other topics for the call? Okay, let's call it here. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Hi, open source contributor. What's up?
Hey, hello, how are you?
Hey.
Hello,
How can I help?
hey, I want to start contributing or make changes in your GitHub repo. So how can I start? I can stuck here. I can't understand that. How can I?
I shared a link to a doc for getting started.
Yeah, I have gone through this, but there is a whole folder structure. In their folder structure, there are so many projects that are running under a Ceph. Yeah, it's a right.
Ceph has several components. Yeah, there's
Uh,
the core Rados one, which is the distributed object storage, and then there are several components built on top of that, like CephFS, RBD, and RGW.
Okay, okay. So I can anytime mail you, Cassie.
Um, y- yes, but there's also a mailing list for Ceph development, dev at
Oh,
Ceph.io, which I had shared in the chat.
yeah, okay. Uh, and I and also included that the development project is on Docker image available.
Uh, there are containers, yeah.
Yeah, I should start with container or native on my native machine. I can uh, set up my development project. Is there any advice for me on that?
I'm not sure. Personally, I don't use containers for development, but I think several people do.
Okay, okay. So, can you share the link of how can I set up a development environment in my system so I can
I think
uh,
you should be able to find information on that under the Getting Started page. Maybe
okay,
a
that you have
development
earlier
whisper
mentioned.
there.
Okay, 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 okay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Might also, if you're looking for things to work on specifically, I'll point you to our bug tracker. There's a tag called low hanging fruit, which should be fairly easy stuff to start working on.
Hanging fruit. It's a tag name on GitHub.
Low hanging fruit, it's called.
Okay, okay, okay. Got it. Okay, this low hanging fruit tag name is easy to solve bug. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Shouldn't be too involved to reproduce and fix those.
Okay, 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 okay.
And if you have any issues, feel free to reach out on the dev list.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Welcome. See you guys.
Bye.